Hello, 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 everyone. This is Kathy. And quite often I get asked about how I use my journals and what do you do with a journal after you make it? If you're not making it for someone else, what do you do with all the journals? Well, I'm going to show you what I do with my journals. I use my journals quite often. I always have one or two or maybe even three going at once. So I'm going to go through and just show you some of the different ways that I use my journal. This is a journal that I have a little more space in to use. And here's what I do with my journal. I use it to write in. If you notice, I write everywhere in my journal. I don't just stick to clear pages. I might have something here. Yep. So, and pretty much this writing is just, I kind of just shared my feelings in my journal. It's kind of a way to vent. And you go throughout my journal, that is what I've done. Sometimes I write on the back of tags. Sometimes on the, excuse me, the papers. I don't know if I've written anything there. Or here a little bit. So, I really find joy in sharing my feelings, getting things off my chest, sharing some happy moments with my journal. I almost consider my journal a kind of a good friend that I'm talking to. Sometimes I write on the back here. So as I'm showing you things that I have space in, those are prime spaces that I still have room in this journal for. So as you can see, you'll see in a minute, I really use my journal quite a bit, use spaces in my journals. Sometimes I put little photos in. Maybe I've gone somewhere. This is when I went to the Everglades, which is close by. I go quite often. And it's a picture of a bird. I used an HP Sprocket little printer to print from my phone. Sometimes I use different color inks. There's some white ink. That's why I like to put all different size papers in my journal. I don't think I wrote on this one, no. So, it's fun to look back. I don't particularly go in order. So I don't go, day after day after day in order. I find a page that suits me for what I'm writing that day or how I feel that day. It's kind of weird to go back and then, not find what you're looking for because of the dates. But as you can see, I did this one in August. And this one in March. I usually try to put a day as well as the year and month. More photos, maybe something that I've just made that I was kind of proud of. Lots of fun. I really find a lot of fun in working in my journals. And, you know, it gets pretty personal. That's why I love to put little nooks and crannies in my journals, so I have lots of places to write. I don't think I wrote on these. No. So I still have some writing to do. I haven't written on these yet. So that's one type of journaling that I do, and how I use my own journals. Let me show you another. This is an older paper bag journal, and as you can see, it's huge. This is a journal I'm done with, and it's so fun to just walk down memory lane and see what I've created, see how I was feeling. I love paper bag journals because they just expand. They're huge. Lots of places. In this particular time, my dear friend Julie was passing away. She was in hospice at her home. So I was spending some time with her, and expressed that in my journal. Also, I like to write poetry, so I write some poetry in my journal. Maybe some sayings that I like. Pictures of my dogs that have gone over the Rainbow Bridge. This is Sweeney, and this is Fanny. See if I wrote anything here. Yep. These are fun little envelopes that open up. You can write in. So I write and post pictures. This was when I was in a play. I love photographs. This is my current Poochie, one of them, Jackson. These are photos I took at Wynwood. I always love this one. Too many humans and not enough souls. And even when I put vellum in, I write on that. I stamp things and cut them out and write on those. The little accordion book in my journal. Lots of places. This is trying out new stamps. This is a photo I took at Wynwood. I think it adds a lot of nice color. As you can see, this was a very eclectic journal. It's a card I got from my husband. This is my dog, Jackson. Lots of little pieces that I enjoy. Sometimes I just use a Post-it and had it. Grab a tag and write on it. Fabric flip. Trying out some new stamps. This piece happens to be when my mother was a waitress when I was growing up, and this is how she kept track of her tips. A little pad. Oh, I still have that to write on. Little poems. This was a poem I wrote for my friend Julie when she passed. This is my friend. This was a page I devoted to Julie. Little patchwork. This is another current Poochie, Jimmy. And that's that journal. So a paperback journal is fun because it just holds everything. Then we have some different types of journals. And those are these. These are, I have an art journal, and then I have journals that hold photos of my work. And let's start with a smaller art journal. These are cloth journals that I stamped on fabric and then sewed the pieces onto this journal. And it was good because it got me a chance to, it allowed me to try out my new stamps. I keep my watercolors and some black pens in here. And this is a great, I always have trouble opening it. It's great. I have a water pen for the watercolors. And I like to write different things. So lots. The little girl ran, the ribbons followed, kind of like dreams. Lots of things I wanted to try out in my art journal. And basically, I just take pieces of watercolor paper usually and glue it down. Other times it's index cards. Stamps that I might add some color to. This is a pretty colorful journal because I was using watercolors. I might write down a saying that I saw. We cannot become who we want to be by remaining who we are. Trying new stamps. New stenciling. What would you say to your younger self? So all different kinds of stuff. I still have space left in here. But this is what I would call one of my art journals. I know recently I showed my larger art journal, or I worked in it. Now let me show you some of my sample journals. I did the same technique with cloth. Stamped and sewed it down. And most of this, I have photos of places I go that might be an inspiration. These are pictures of my Alice in Wonderland journal, plus photos of other works. This was a mini art little journal. And it was inspiration to me. Question, keep and learn, and risk. And this was just a journal to myself for my own encouragement. We'll put that right back in. And this was a photo of Loveism. This is on one of the buildings down in downtown Miami, in Wynwood. And lots of photos of inspiration for inspiration. Photos of some of my work. This was a cigar box that I worked on. I used clay to collage the top. That was fun. Travel journal. This was a doll that I made. Rainbow wish journal, which is fun. Well, I'd like to make one of those again. And that's what these journals do. They give you inspiration for what you've done, what you might like to try again. All sorts of stuff. This was a journal I made, a waterfall journal made out of cloth. That was a big fail. These are some of the mini journals that I made that were on keychains. Made those for a craft fair. A journal with a giraffe theme, perhaps. I thought that might be fun. And this is a 2020 crisis, a journal of hope. I still have that journal. This was a domino journal that I did a tutorial on. And these are smaller journals. So lots of ways that I use my journals. It also reminds me of perhaps something I was working on. And it's fun to keep, that's what I love my HP Sprocket little mini printer. It really allows you to keep track of all your work. And certainly I ran out of space on here, and then I haven't done this for a while. And even tags. It's also a good way to index what you have. This was a journal that I made for someone. ATCs. Then I ran out of room, and then I just added more pages. And that's one of my samples. And I think I have one more. Made the same way. more photos. Perhaps a way that I embellished a tag helps me remember. This is my Wizard of Oz journal that I actually haven't completed yet. This was a New York journal that I sold, and I really liked that one. A bee journal that I gave away. This was my Secret Colony of Steampunk Pussies journal. I sold that twice. I've made 2 different ones. Lots of ideas. This was a journal in a pouch. I did sell those. And then I still have space here. So these photo journals are just wonderful journals for inspiration and motivation. Then I have a journal that I haven't used yet, really. I think I used it a little. This was a grungy journal that I made out of composition notebooks. And I followed a tutorial by Junk Journal Joy and Francesca. And I really loved doing it. And you'll notice I tea dyed all of that. And then hung them outside on the line, actually on the fence, to dry. Added a few pockets, but really left a lot for writing. Added some tags. And most of these I made with Super Simples from Pink Monarch Prints. But if you've never tried one of these composition notebook journals, you might want to try them. I get the composition notebooks from Dollar Tree, or at the beginning of the school year, you can get them even cheaper than Dollar Tree. But a lot of fun. And this will be mainly a writing journal for me. And then I have one more, and that's this one. This is my journal that I just took apart, deconstructed, and then I kept the cover and then added 2 new signatures and then embellished it just a bit. This will be my own personal journal as well. I added some tags that I had gotten, some of them from the other journal, the deconstructed part. This is from Natasha from Treasure Books. She just did this tutorial. Check out her channel. I'll probably replicate it on mine, but I want to call it a stacked journal. And what it is, it's just pieces of paper that are stacked together. Folded. I used 4 pieces, but you can use as many pieces of paper as you'd like. And you have all these places to write. I think it's so pretty. Anyway, that's this deconstructed. I have all these to put in here. And this will be a writing / whatever journal. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed, kind of maybe got some ideas for how to use your own journals. And thanks for joining me. You all have a good one. Bye.